Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to are fired up for this Monday morning. And thank you for coming to one of our Hispanic awareness programs. September 15th marks the first day of National Hispanic Heritage Month. The purpose of the celebration is to commemorate the cultural influences that U.S. Latinos whose ancestors came from Mexico, Spain, the Caribbean, and Central and South America have established in society throughout the years. It begins in the middle of the month, and I didn't know this, because the National Independence Day of several Latin American countries, specifically Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, coincides on September 15th. Additionally, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16th and 18th. Columbus Day, and for many of you all who may know, Indigenous Day, which is today, which falls on September 11th, is also considered part of the celebration period. Congressional awareness of the event started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week. It was expanded to an entire month 20 years later in 1988, thus concluding the celebration on October 15th. Between 2010 and 2019, U.S. Latinos enrolled in higher education institutions jumped from 2.9 million to 3.6 million. This change is likely due to an increased bilingual and multilingual American population from 2010 to 2020. Hispanics have made up more than half of the total U.S. population growth. And today we celebrate Hispanic Awareness Month with speakers, food, dance, and music. At this time, I'd like to bring up Susan Peak, who will introduce our speaker for this morning. Let's bring on Susan.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. It's my honor to introduce Juan Chavez. I first met Juan I wrote a fancy speech, but I decided this morning I'd rather just speak from my heart. I met Juan in 2015 as his success coach here at Wallace State, and we met pretty regularly, probably once a week, once every couple weeks for a semester, as Juan was in our engineering and engineering technology program. I was immediately impressed with his dedication and his diligence to his studies here at Wallace State, but more so his dedication to serving his family and his community. And I have no shame in saying that Juan is one of my all-time favorite students. I don't think we're supposed to say that, but I am. And so Juan, in 2018, had a choice to make, and instead of pursuing his career path in engineering technology after he finished his degree here, he was able to join the Blount County Sheriff's Department as the first Latino deputy in Blount County after having helped them solve a case as a de facto translator. He continued to serve Blount County Sheriff's Department in corrections with such distinction that his supervisors and the Sheriff of Blount County acknowledged and recognized his hard work and his dedication as a truly remarkable young man, and they sent him to the Sheriff's Academy. And so I'm going to let him tell you the rest of his story, but know that when he speaks today, you are in the presence of greatness. So it is my honor and my privilege to introduce to you Juan Chavez, Wallace State graduate and Blount County Sheriff's Deputy.
Good morning. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be over here. It's a great honor to be able to talk to you all about success that wasn't so easy at first, but I finally was able to achieve it. I am from Alum, Alabama. I do work for Blount County Sheriff's Office, and I also work for Oniana Police Department. The incident that Miss Susan Peak was talking about, I will share with y'all because it was a incident that kind of led me to change my career path. That incident was there was a family member that was a cousin of mine. He murdered his mom and dad. So there was an investigation that was going on with the Sheriff's Department in Blount County, and my family, due to the circumstances, there was a language barrier. My family was having difficulties communicating with the Sheriff's Office, along with the Sheriff's Office and my family. So at that point, I figured that maybe I was needing to step up and help the family and all with this case. So with my assistance and the assistance with the Sheriff's Office and the DA's office, we all were able to collaborate together and help solve this case. So from then on, Pamela Casey, who is our district attorney in Blount County, she kind of opened up my eyes and said, you know what, I think this is something that maybe you should try considering. It's probably something that the community needs more assistance of. So at that point, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do something that I never really considered doing. So I went in with the Sheriff's Office. I was employed. I was a correctional officer starting off. From then, I was able to move my way up. I became a court bailiff. And then I was doing transport. From then on, I went to the Sheriff's Academy in Jefferson County. I became an 8-post officer. And then from there, I was able to assist the community on road patrol. And from then on that point, I feel like I've made a major impact in my community. There is a large Hispanic community around in Blount County, so at that point, I was able to help build a bridge between both communities due to the language barrier, and we were able to create a trust as well, because if there's not a good communication, I don't think there will be a trust. And now that there is a good communication, there's a full trust within both communities. So from then on, that's how things went on with me and the community. So I would like to say, though, I'm very thankful for the district attorney, what she helped me to go through, open my eyes out with this. And like I said, I feel like it's been a wonderful impact with both communities. And so far, I do continue to do that with the Sheriff's Office. So that's a little bit about me. I will say this, though. Since it is Hispanic Heritage Month, I would encourage many of y'all to take Spanish and all, or any kind of other language that you could learn that's easy for you or more interested in. Because if you're able to learn a second language, it does open more opportunities for you to have a job, or have a better chance of attaining a job. Some agencies, they also pay you more if you learn a new language and are good at it or decent at it. You get a little pay raise on that. Education-wise, with the Sheriff's Office, I don't need a college education. As you can see, I graduated with an engineering technology program. I don't have a criminal justice degree. However, I was able to pursue, and now they encourage me, hey, if you want to go to criminal justice at Wallace State and all, it will help you out. You get a pay increase and all. So with the Sheriff's Offices, there's many opportunities for success. So that's a little bit about me and my career, my job. So I guess, any questions?
Tell us a little bit more about what it looks like in policing for you every day as a bridge between the Hispanic community and the police department or sheriff's department.
Okay, well, with either or agency, every day with the community, I feel like I'm able to help out either community, because every day it comes with challenges that you don't really prepare yourself for. It's just something that you just got to depend on your training and all. Whether it's either assisting someone outside the road with changing a flat tire or helping them out on some kind of domestic incident. So with me being able to communicate both, communities, it makes it a lot easier for us to investigate further on and be able to determine, how we need to handle this situation and all. So, yes, ma'am. So.
Are you able to share details about the case that you worked on, your first case with the sheriff's office? Yes, ma'am.
It is a closed case. So basically, my cousin, he murdered his mom and dad due to what we believe is initiation to a gang-related group. And so he was able to fled the state of Alabama to the state of Tennessee, From that point on, we were able to communicate with some of his friends who only spoke Spanish, and I was able to assist with translating, and from that point we were able to ping certain location where he was going to towards the time of that incident, and from then we were able to find camera footage and all of where he was at. We found out that he was buying new phones for his co-defendants that were also involved, and at that point we were able to get each one of the co-defendants at a time, and then at the end we were able to catch my cousin who was over in Tennessee. At that point, he never really gave us a true story of why he did it and all, but through the investigation with the sheriff's office and the DA's office, they were able to determine that it was possibly a gang initiation of why he did it. And so now he's down at DOC serving time, 99 plus years. So he's going to be doing his time, and justice has been served at that incident for sure. I'm very thankful for the Blount County Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney's Office too. So.
You know, since you're talking to college students, choices are important, and the choices you make can determine, you know, your outcome. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of choosing well, you know, whether it's your friends, whether it's people you hang out with, and what you have seen as far as choices are concerned?
Okay. First of all, I would say it's going to start out with who you hang around with. I can't quote exactly how I heard it and who said it, but I do remember seeing this. A guy said that if you show him your friends, he will show you your future. Okay. If you hang around smart people, you will be smart. Okay. Because I used to think I wasn't the smartest person, but I took that advice. And I felt smart being around smarter people, and I was led to make smarter decisions. I was never the brightest student growing up, however, hanging around the right crowd and all kind of guided me through the right path. So it all starts with who you hang around with, your friends. Listen to your family. Your family will always encourage you to do the best. My mom and dad, they came over to this country for a better opportunity. I have a little sister who's also a Wall State alumni. She just graduated the registered nurse or the nursing program as a registered nurse, and I'm also alumni here. So because of them, they kind of opened up my eyes to who I need to hang around with and making better decisions, because you know they gave me an opportunity to come out here and to do better. You know, and when it comes to choices and career and all, just you know, like I started with the engineering technology program. I got offered a job down on 280 near the hospital. What's that hospital's name? Grandview. Yes. So I was going to be a CAD specialist down there for an electrical engineer firm. However, you know, because of the incident and all, I kind of opened up to it. And I said, you know what? You know, I'm gonna go for it. You know, I'm not going to think twice, but I'm going to go for it, because I know if I do end up doing it, I'm going to focus on that job and I'm going to make sure I do well on it. So just, you know, if you're having trouble deciding what to do and all, I highly recommend either ask your friends and all for advice. Success Coach has been my number one thing to go to, because I was the first generation to go to college and I had the opportunity to graduate and all. And since my first semester, my college success coach has been there for me and guided me to the right path. So if you don't have a success coach that you see on a regular basis, I would highly recommend doing so, because that right there was probably the best thing I ever done too. So thank you, Ms. Susan Pete. So.
Sorry, I have a question.
Oh, sorry, Brady's got one in the back.
What is the most rewarding part of the job that you're doing now?
Most rewarding part is helping the community. To me, that's the most that I can get as a reward. I have received other accommodations and all, but to me, the most rewarding is helping anybody that's in need. Whether it's, you know, like I said earlier, like helping out change a flat tire or assisting on something or giving advice. That to me is the greatest achievement, is to feel that I helped someone out. It's more important than making an arrest. It's making a bigger difference in the community.
What advice would you give to criminal justice students that are fixing to enter the workforce?
So my advice is, what I would do is, try to look at these agencies, whether it's your local police department, sheriff's office, ask them, see if they got a reserve program. In Blount County Sheriff's Office, we do have a reserve program where you're allowed to ride with a law enforcement officer. It might be a sergeant at first, and later on it can be with anyone if you have friends in the department and all. I would recommend doing that first so you can have an eye-opener of what it is to be a law enforcement officer for the public and all. I also would recommend, if you do a sheriff's office, you can go and start at the jail, working at jail. That's how we usually all start first, is working at the jail. And some agencies will help you out with your college education as well. I didn't know that at first, but they have many opportunities to help you out in that aspect. So from there, like I said, probably reserves will be the main thing I'll say to start doing first, so you can just have an eye-opener.
Can you tell us about the relationship now between the Hispanic community and the police department with you acting as a bridge? What did it look like before?
Okay.
What does it look like now? And what do you feel like culturally from your Hispanic culture, how has that shaped the way you police?
Okay, so first of all, before I became a law enforcement officer, the Hispanic community and law enforcement, we didn't really communicate very well. There was a language barrier for most of us. I didn't really get to talk to any, hang around with them, so I didn't have that trust. I felt like they were all mean and all, so I kind of avoided just contact with them. But ever since I joined the law enforcement agency and all, it kind of helped me open up my eyes too. It's like, you know what, these folks out here, they're just like us. They're human. They have a life. They have family and all, and they love to talk to you. If you approach them and all, ask them a question. So when I finally graduated the sheriff's office or the sheriff's academy and was on patrol, at that point I said, I'm going to engage with the community and the Hispanic community, because I also had another officer with me that assisted. So anytime I saw somebody like, in the Hispanic community or any other community, we'll engage in a conversation, crack up jokes, just to build a good relationship with the public. So, and that has helped us a lot too, because, the public sees something that we may not see, and they'll report it to us because they're like, hey, we can trust them on this and they can help us out. And another aspect of looking at this is, now that I've been at the sheriff's office for about 3 years, the Hispanic community, they'll reach out to me and be like, look, hey, is there anything that we can do to help your agency? We have some people that want to donate money or donate food. We want to do something for y'all. And that helped us a lot. Now, as a family point of view, I call everybody family that I work with, because we're a family. It's a small agency. We all look out for each other. So on my shift, there's usually 4 to 5 deputies patrolling. We usually get together, and they'll come over to my family's place. And my family, I have a large family, by the way. So we do cookouts at the farm, and they'll come over and eat with us. And every one of the deputies and all, they're like, wow, we love the food. We love how the environment is. I was like, we need to do this more often. So it opened up their eyes too, of how they see us now, and it's just like one big family now. And I feel like I helped create that relationship between everyone in Blount County.
You see so much that the average person does not see because of your job and the situations you are placed in. How do you keep your own spirits up? I mean, how do you cope with that and to keep a positive attitude?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm a spiritual person. So anything, if I'm ever feeling like going through a hard time and all, God's always been there for me. Okay, and I feel like He's there for anyone as well that seeks Him. So, in that point of view, if I come across something that, like you said, not the average person sees on the daily and all, you just got to have that mindset. You got to be there for everyone. You won't come across a situation where there might be a deceased person and the family's there, and the family, they're going to be worried about the incident that's going on. They're going to be holding on to you, telling you to do something. You just got to hold that mentality, like, hey, look, I'm here to do my job. I'm going to help the family. You can't get distracted. And once you do that, then you'll learn how to cope with the incident, where you're going to be like, look, this is something I'm going to do on the daily, and I'm going to continue to do a better job at it and hold my composure of being professional at what I do. And also, there is some people, and there will be some times I have not been through it, but I do believe there will be a time in life where you'll come across something that's going to be kind of hard to deal with, but there is help that the agencies do offer, you know. So like I said, for me, it's been spiritual, and it's been great to cope with things.
Is this a shy audience or something?
Any other questions?
I had a question. You mentioned something about gang initiation.
Mhm.
You know, when I think of Aniana, Blount County, I don't think gangs. I don't think any violence.
Yep.
I don't think that.
So
can you talk a little bit about that?
This gang, which most likely was cartel, this is up towards Tennessee, and it was around the Chattanooga area, and possibly had connection with Memphis gangs out there. So you're right. In Aniana, it's a very nice community. Usually with criminal activity, it's very low. There is a lot of police officer presence in Aniana. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Just to clarify, Aniana is perfect. All that gang activity was up towards Tennessee. So, any other questions? Yes.
Do you get to work with canine units?
Canine units? Yes, ma'am. So in the agency, most agencies that I've been around with, we all have canine officers. I've had the opportunity to be a canine handler. However, it is a big responsibility. These canines, they're like children. You have to take good care of them. They have to go through training. You have to log everything you do. On a traffic stop, if you're using a canine to deploy them on a sense for narcotics around the vehicle, you're going to log everything. So it's hard work. It's harder than what most people don't realize. So, but yes. And canine unit, if you love doing narcotic stuff like me, I would recommend getting one. But for me right now, I'm not ready to have a canine. It's like having a kid.
They are like babies.
I'm sorry, what?
I said they are like babies.
Oh, yeah.
My son-in-law's came out.
I'm a dog person. I have a Doberman, but my Doberman is different than, an actual canine, because there's a lot of work that goes into that.
There's been a lot in the news media in the last year or so about different styles of policing. And I'm not trying to get you in a political place, but talk about the importance of maybe the social aspect of what you do. I mean, you touched on that briefly, but when you're in a tense situation, you're dealing with somebody who you may or may not know has mental illness or emotional illness. What kind of training do you all go through to help you handle those kinds of situations differently? Okay. Well, first of all, you said style policing. Us being a small community and all, and the way I see things, I do believe the best way to be a police officer is what I call community policing. Okay. I like to engage with the public. Now, usually I see small traffic infraction violation. If I make a traffic stop, let's say somebody ran a red light and they failed to yield or something. It's an elderly lady. I don't tend to give her a ticket. I just feel like, hey, just be more cautious and all. That to me, that's more of a community police, and not giving tickets. It's not all about giving tickets. That's not what makes the biggest difference. The biggest difference is helping those that are in need and all. So I'm not, I guess what I could say, a mean officer. I'm pretty open with everyone and love to help the community. Let's see. The training aspects and all, we do receive training. We're required to have CEUs, at least minimum 12 CEUs, or continuous education. And most of the training is, we do like mental stuff. Like let's say, I'm trying to think of the name of that course we went through. They pretty much teach us like how to engage with those that are not mentally stable and all, and they show you how to communicate with them. Sometimes I've been through an incident where there was a young adult, hearing impaired, and I can't remember what other medical problem he had, but anyways, he wasn't all there, and being at nighttime, I was on night shift during that time.
I figured he was trying to, like, at first I thought he was going to grab a weapon, try to hurt me, but what he was trying to do is he was trying to reach for pencil and paper to write down something that he was trying to communicate with me. So based on these classes that we went through and all, it's kind of opened up me to the point where I'm like, hey, he's trying to communicate, I'm going to communicate him with this way. Sometimes they get more aggressive. You got to learn how to lower your tone down and set that tone where they can feel more relaxed and comfortable with you. So based on those training classes and all that we receive on a yearly basis, it's helped us a lot. So yes, ma'am. Any other questions? No, I would say this though. How many of y'all are in the criminal justice program right now? Okay. How many of y'all have interacted with y'all's local agency? Law enforcement agency. Okay. Any of Blount? No? Okay. That's all right though. I was just curious on the Blount part, but I would say this, keep communicating with them, because the more you communicate with them, the more they see that you're interested in them, and when it comes to hiring and all, you will be on top of the list when it comes to hiring, because you have that communication. You're showing interest with your local law enforcement agency. So just continue doing that. Those that don't communicate with your local law enforcement agency, like I said, do so, because it will help you out and all. One day in the future, later on, I do plan on pursuing on to the federal level. I would love to be part of the U.S. Marshal Service. So that's where I'm continuing to pursue my education. It's not just going to stop where I'm at right now. So that I would love, like I said, that's something I would share.
Speaking of education, and you mentioned being a first-generation college graduate, can you talk a little bit about, outside of the support you received at Wallace State, what it looked like for you to even take that step to pursue education when that wasn't modeled for you?
So outside the box on that, not including my Susan Peak, it was kind of hard for me to make decisions, in college. Because me being a first generation to pursue on the college, I had no one to really look around. I know I had my friends, and I know they had their parents that had been through college, but I was kind of embarrassed at the time to ask around. And I used to be pretty shy too, so I wasn't really wanting to go into that. But I would say is that, I did struggle a good bit finding out, but at the end, I was sitting where you're at on the first day of, I think it was the spring semester, and I got to hear, I don't know if it was you or someone, but they said, hey, we're part of the success coach, and we're here to help you out if you're in need of something that we can assist you on. And that's what's helped me make it through.
Any other questions? Well, Juan, we are delighted that you joined us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to have events like this, and especially wonderful when we can feature an alumni.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a gift for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And just to remind everyone, we have a cooking demonstration with our culinary arts program just when you leave, if you'd like to try ceviche. They've got that set up for you. Chinito's taco truck is also outside in the parking lot. I know they'd love a visit if you're interested in additional Hispanic Heritage Fair. And later this week, the cafe and culinary arts will also be featuring additional activities. And we have an open house in Aniana tomorrow night with bounce houses and food, and love to see you over there as well. So thanks so much for joining us. I hope you have a good day. And if you want to come back in here during the lunch hour, we're going to be showing a famous Mexican sitcom and cartoon called El Chavo del Ocho. So I'd love to see you back for that. Thanks again.